This week on today's Homeowner, we're fixing up a family's backyard for fall fun. Therapeutic, isn't it?
It is. Kind of in a trance.
I've been helping homeowners improve their homes for a lot of years. They think it's intimidating, but it actually can be a lot of fun.
And we're here to help.
Good job, look at there.
Dad's the expert, but I've learned a few things along the way.
Practical, realistic home improvement information is what today's Homeowner is all about. This house was built in 1986, and it's home for John and Rebecca Dalgety and their two children, Gibson and Ellie.
So we've lived here for about 8 years now.
Our house is pretty much the right size for us. Big backyard.
We just want it to be a very welcoming space where we can have friends over and we can just be hanging out in the back and watching our kids play together. And right now it's just so boring and it's just kind of an eyesore.
There's things that we'd love to do that I either don't have to know how to do.
So Chelsea and I stopped by to see what we can do to help.
This is our little patio area, but when we moved in, it was really small. In fact, you can see the line.
Oh my gosh.
That's all you had?
That's all we had.
That's all you're getting.
Yeah, John and my dad extended it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's unavoidable when you're adding onto the concrete, but you got it all nice and smooth, and that was that's a lot of work.
We can definitely, stain it, paint it.
That sounds great. We love to sit out here at this little table with our kids. It's kind of falling apart, it looks like.
Would you be opposed to just painting it?
No, that's great.
But don't paint it black. Have some fun with that. Don't paint it black.
We love color, so we're great with pop of color.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have some kind of gutter issue going on. When it rains, water keeps hitting this piece of molding.
We've cleaned that gutter out pretty frequently.
Yeah, and those leaves just blow over constantly. No matter what season, it stays full of leaves.
Dan, take us to the store over here too. This is a
yeah.
big issue for us here.
Boy,
Rotten wood and
all the splash coming off there. No gutter there, splashing back against that.
Yeah,
and,
we don't have like a rain diverter or anything. That door has been on our to-do list for at least 2.5 years.
Is that just a storage room?
I just want to keep my lawnmower and my outside tools. Yep.
That's a new door unit right there. Now look at this crepe myrtle.
Okay, don't look at me, look at him. That's his part.
John.
I'll talk about that.
You planted it just a tad
They're
close.
so desperate for sunlight.
Yeah, I didn't think it'd grow that tall when I first planted it. I thought, well, maybe I could move them at some point later, but later never came.
It's just so overwhelming. Every time we look at it, we really don't know where to start.
Well, after John helps us figure this out, he can fix anything.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, it'll be.
Because the list keeps growing.
So in addition to adding new gutters, we're replacing the rotten siding and storage room door. Then we'll dress up the patio with some stain and a paver border. Plus, we'll restack the tree ring and transplant the trees that are too close to the home. On the morning we return to start work, there's plenty of urgency because the weather is calling for rain and we have to remove the old leaky gutters before the new ones can go up, along with some unexpected cargo inside them. Is that Rebecca's?
That's Gibson's, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. All right.
No telling. Pretty typical, Gibson playing with toys and throwing toys around.
There have been so many balls thrown up there, Nerf gun bullets, BBs. Those gutters have caught lots and lots of junk over the years.
Meanwhile, Chelsea and Rebecca clear off the patio while our handyman bear digs up the crepe myrtle trees so the new gutters can extend over that area as well. The new gutters are actually being custom made on site by the company that will install them.
We're just now getting started on a project and there's a lot going on.
This machine in the back of their truck forms the K-style gutter profiles from coils of coated aluminum so they are seamless and the exact length we need. They start at the end opposite the downspout and work the gutter downhill to ensure it drains properly. So see, they're seamless aluminum, so you don't have any joints in it. Plus, these are 5-inch instead of 4-inch.
They have to look better.
Yeah, they definitely look a lot better, and they're going to work a lot better, more capacity and so forth. I mean, you got a lot of water coming down a roof like that. We kicked the downspout out this way because before it was just throwing all the water back on here.
Is there a purpose to that?
Well, it's just you don't want any more water than you have to have here. That's where a lot of the mold and mildew is coming from. This will be in great shape. These guys are fast. They'll have this done in no time.
Looks like the gutter guys installed them just in time. We're about to get a big test of it.
It's looking dark.
Yeah, it is looking a little gloomy and threatening out here. So what we'll do is, John, you and I can tackle the rotten wood over on the siding. If you guys can go ahead and pressure wash.
Oh yes, we're
and
antsy.
get everything nice and clean here, and then you guys can get started on the pavers.
We'll get it done.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's clean the patio
All right,
furniture
John,
too
let's see
while
what
we're at
we
it.
can do here.
All right.
Now, wait, hold on just a second. I have a question.
Okay.
Your dad mentioned something about pavers. Is that what
Yep,
these are?
that's them right there.
Okay.
Want to see what we're doing? I'll show you what we're doing. doing.
Okay.
So we're just gonna do an outline all the way around the patio that's
right.
here. 3 high, yeah, and then this one will go like this, in this direction.
Okay, so it's gonna be like a border that goes
Right,
all the
and
way?
this will be flush with the top of the patio, so we'll have to dig a little grass and dirt out.
Okay.
And then we'll fill the void with concrete to hold everything together.
That's gonna look great.
I think it's gonna look really nice. And then, you know, we're gonna stain the patio too. So
Okay.
that they'll complement each other really well.
It'll look real finished and polished.
Yep, exactly.
This is how most people collect leaves. They put them into a plastic bag inside a trash can. There's nothing wrong with that, except when you go to remove the bag. Often, the bag forms suction at the bottom, and you can't get the bag out. Now, how many times you pull on it, have you ever seen that before? There you go, the bag is absolutely stuck in there. So I thought a way to solve that, to break that vacuum, is to introduce a little air by drilling holes into the can. So I took a 5/8 inch diameter drill bit, and I drilled a series of holes around the outside of the can and also in the bottom. What those holes do is they allow the air in to break the vacuum. So now when you go to remove the bag, a bag full of leaves, it slides out with no problem at all.
We're giving John and Rebecca's backyard a fall fix-up. Their sagging gutters have already been replaced, and now John and I are removing the rotten siding while Chelsea and Rebecca fire up the pressure washer.
I've never met a homeowner who didn't like to pressure wash, and Rebecca is no different.
I love pressure washing. I had never done it before. Chelsea showed me and she was so neat, and she had these little rows and they perfectly overlapped.
I like to do it very methodically and very precise so that I know where I've been and where I'm going, and so I know I'm not going to miss any spots. Rebecca's a little bit different than that.
I was just kind of like a hyped up bunny over here and over here.
But to each their own.
Why did you decide to go with the whole unit instead of just using the frame and the door over there?
The door was in okay shape, the old door, but it was a smooth door, and all the other doors on your house are the 6-panel.
Okay.
Plus, by the time we redid all of the framing and did all of that, it's just easier just to get the whole entire unit.
If you're buying a door unit, the first thing you need to tell the pro at the store is which way it swings.
It's just the way it swings in or the way it swings out. So if it's swinging in to the right, that's a right-hand swing. If it's swinging in to the left, it's a left-hand swing.
This new door unit will help seal out drafts, but if you have older windows, they may be drafty as well. To combat those drafts in cooler weather, you can apply window insulating film on the inside of the opening. The heavy-duty film in this kit from Duck Brand is puncture resistant, so it's great for high traffic areas, and a simple hair dryer helps shrink it tight so the view is crystal clear.
All right, put it just a little bit lower.
Changing out the cedar siding was really important to me because that is a problem with this type of house. And that's something I haven't been able to tackle in the past because I just thought it'd be too much work.
With lap siding, the key is to match the reveal of the existing boards so the rows line up across the house and each is identical in width.
Right on the money.
All right, excellent. Watching Danny change out that board, you know, the ease of that made me realize that I can do that myself.
And your paint job will make it just look beautiful.
The new gutters will prevent all of these repairs from being necessary again in the future, but we didn't expect a test so soon.
Around 1 or 2 o'clock, the sky fell out and it just started pouring.
Well, Dad, you always say, do it right, sleep at night, and we definitely did it right on this project.
But at least the timing-wise.
Yeah.
And being able to get the siding up and the gutters work. What a great test for those gutters.
Seeing that all the water was going towards the end of the house now, not falling down in the center, not falling down near our laundry door, was really amazing.
You know, the thunderstorms we experienced yesterday are not uncommon here on the Gulf Coast, but it was a perfect test for us to see how our gutters and downspouts were going to work, and they worked great. They gathered the water, the downspouts moved it safely away from the house, exactly what we want. You know, it's also not uncommon for those vicious storms to knock out the power in certain neighborhoods, and kind of admire John for having his portable generator ready to go. Actually, he's going to test it out in a little while I help Chelsea and Bear try to get our pavers in around the patio, make it look a lot better.
Testing a generator occasionally is important to be sure that it provides backup power when you need it, whether it's because of a hurricane or a winter storm. This model from Champion runs on either gasoline or propane, which is important because after a major storm, gas stations are often closed. Next, John joins Rebecca to begin taking apart the lopsided tree ring.
When did you put these down?
I think we put them down right after we bought the house, did we not?
Did you do it yourself? I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, I placed all of them. They were straight back then. So I don't know how they got sagging like they did.
Yeah, they're so dirty. That was just something that was always on our to-do list, but it never ranked very high.
I'm trying to save this grass to where we're not beating it down or getting a lot of dirt on it and everything. Actually, Bear, if you wanted to, you can go ahead and start getting the paver base and follow me up. All of that's exactly where we need it right there.
All right.
The trench around the patio is being filled with paver base and packed down until it's 9.5 inches below the patio surface, where we will need to start stacking out our pavers.
All right, what do you have going on, Dad?
Well, I made this little jig out of plywood.
Okay.
And so that's going to tell us how far out we put this first course here, and then how far down, so that we got the right sequence, that we end up with the 3 bricks and then the cap brick right on top.
Okay.
So why don't you just lay these things out, and I'll come back. Rubber
tweak
mallet's perfect for that, not only to keep these in line, but to keep you in line.
Oh, you better not use that on me. How many jigs have you made in your day?
You mean like the dance jig?
No, no dancing
Oh,
jigs.
no, the dance
No.
jig.
When the first course is properly placed, we apply construction adhesive and begin laying the next row. Meanwhile, I'm setting John and Rebecca up with similar jigs for the tree ring. When you're trying to make a living as a contractor, you're looking for any way to kind of speed it up and still have that accuracy. So you always look for the right jig to be able to do it. Here, let me do that jig, though.
No.
Once John and Rebecca dig out the footing, they fill it in with paver base and begin restacking the stones around the tree. Over at the patio, we continue stacking the pavers until they're 3 rows high. Then we backfill between the pavers and patio with more paver base. We then mix up some fast-setting concrete to fill the last few inches before setting the final pavers perpendicular to the rest of them.
So you know, whether or not you're out on the job site or even in your workshop or your garage, having a nice set of sawhorses is awesome. You want to make sure, of course, that they're sturdy, and TOUGHBUILT has a sturdy set of sawhorses. This is their adjustable folding set. Right, Dan?
Yes, this is a nice little unit. It's pretty strong too.
Yeah,
One
look.
of them will handle up to 1,100 pounds.
It can hold me.
There you go.
And look at this, if you grab your 2x4, it turns instantly into a work table or a portable workbench. You've got a piece of plywood right there. Let's pop that on. And look right here, ta-da!
Combined, this will handle up to 2,200 pounds.
Wow,
so it'll handle a lot of weight.
That's awesome, and there are pegs. So if you need to do a vertical cut, or you need to scribe your wood, or you just simply want to store it, those pegs hold it nicely too, right, Dan?
There you go.
John and Rebecca have been busy cleaning up their backyard to enjoy some cooler fall weather, and as soon as they finish restacking their tree ring, Rebecca attacks it with a pressure washer.
I was just kind of in my own little zone. When I look up and everyone's cracking up, I was literally covered from head to toe in just brown speckled.
You know, when you're pressure washing, you think of things being clean. But Rebecca didn't come away looking very clean on that project.
Yeah, you don't realize it's going to come back at you.
And I think they were laughing because they were jealous.
Now we're trying to tackle all of the lines that we have here. Now what this is basically is old concrete and newer concrete, and this is nothing more than what we call a cold joint. It'll never look any better than this unless we completely resurface the entire concrete, or I'm going to try to disguise it a little bit by actually putting more joints in it and do a few score joints. I'm thinking cut this and continue it all the way across, take this and cut it across, do the same thing here, then measure from there to here in this point, put another joint there, and maybe it'll look completely intentional, and I know it'll look a lot better.
We're using a chalk line to mark our cuts in a regular circular saw fitted with a diamond tip masonry blade to make them. The concrete is rough, so a guide board helps keep the cut straight.
All right, since we finally have dry weather, I think we should go ahead and attack the siding and put a fresh coat of paint on it.
Okay.
So which one of you wants to do the rolling?
I'll do the roll-up.
Yeah,
Okay,
for sure.
So the best thing is to just take the roller sideways and apply the paint on the siding.
Okay.
And then Rebecca, you come with the brush and
Okay.
do what we call back brushing and brush the underside of the siding.
Got it.
Painting is definitely not my thing. I'd rather be doing anything else than painting. But seeing the change that paint made to those old doors and the walls, it's worth the effort.
And what Bear's working on right now is the little path going into the storage building, and we're using a basket weave pattern, which I always love. This kind of a nice little random way of doing it, using 8 of the pavers. And here's another great example and a great way you can enhance your backyard, just using pavers.
While Bear works on that, I've got an accessory I want to show John for his new gutters.
This is the gutter brush I was telling you about. And a lot of people think of it as something you clean your gutters with, but it's actually something that allows you not to have to clean the gutters hardly at all. So like a big pipe cleaner, all you have to do is just drop it right in the gutter, and I'll hand them to you, and we'll run down both of these areas here, and that'll save you a lot of maintenance down the road.
As John finishes up the gutters, I'm getting the concrete stain ready to coat the patio.
But it's not paint. So you just want to put a light coat on everything and make it as consistent as you can.
I was so nervous when it was time to stain just because it sounds like it's such a permanent result.
And once she gets away from it a little bit, you've got a nice long extension there. So just light rolling. Again, we're not trying to paint it.
Danny's so sweet and so encouraging. He was like, here, you can do it, you know, have at it. And so I was really cautious at first.
That's perfect. That's just perfect right there.
I thought it was going to take, you know, an hour or two to get it all covered because it took a while to power wash.
Therapeutic, isn't it?
It is. Kind of like with the power wash, I'm kind of in a trance.
Let's get this one square done right here.
Okay.
And then let him take over that one square. That way we can stay consistent.
Dad, I didn't know you were such a square.
Well, I really don't think I'm square. I think that was an inappropriate comment.
Well, you don't want to be round either, though, do you?
No, I don't want to be round.
While the concrete stain dries, we can turn our attention to the landscaping while Chelsea and Rebecca prep the patio furniture for paint.
This is kind of hard because there's so many curves, but like keeping it the same distance away.
Yeah.
And then like if you're doing a back and forth that you kind of go off before you come back. Otherwise, it's like a buildup on the edge.
Okay, and that's when it drips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're gonna take things a little differently and do a classic color on the furniture and give Dad a pop of color with the umbrella. Also, it's kind of nice having a color that's so close to the original color, so if you miss a spot, it's not as obvious.
It's more forgiving, I guess.
The lazy man spray paint tips. Well, maybe not lazy, but I'm gonna work smarter, not harder. Yeah, that's right.
John and Rebecca's backyard had some great spaces to enjoy, but they were all showing the wear and tear of the home's age. There was water-damaged wood on the house itself, and the paint had seen a few too many season changes. The seams in the dingy patio gave away its history, and though it was large enough, it wasn't much to look at. And the decorative tree ring in the back had deteriorated to the point that it was no longer decorative. Replacing the old gutters and adding new ones solved the water woes, so we could replace the rotten wood and install a brand new door, all of which got a fresh coat of paint and cost less than $700. Adding score joints, some concrete stain, and a cool paver border made the patio look more like a planned destination than an accident, and required just about $500 for those materials. Plus, we cleaned and restacked the aging tree ring and added some order to the landscape.
When you walk outside now, it's just so fresh and clean and inviting, and almost like a canvas that we can change out as the seasons go by. It just looks so fresh and new. We love it.
Okay, I admit, maintaining a home can be a little overwhelming, but more and more homeowners are taking the same approach that John and Rebecca have taken here in only dealing with one side of the house at a time. The backyard's looking pretty good, and they even painted just one side of the house. So it makes it a little easier then for the next project, maybe to be one side or the front of the house. For smaller projects, a lot easier to manage. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this week's show. We certainly enjoyed bringing it to you, and we'll do it again next week here on Today's Homeowner. I'm Danny Lipford. We'll see you then. No.
Makeup brush hairs. It's a big one.
Do you think we should, you want me to cut it?
Dad, no assist. Come on.
Be sure to join us next week when we transform a young family's dated bathroom from 80s ugh to modern elegance.